Jealous, envious people hate when you deny them access to you, when you cut them off, when you stop talking to them, when you stop seeking their approval and needing them around. Jealous people tend to get upset and find ways to distract you from your purpose. This is where gossip and rumors come in. When you suddenly shift your focus and get quiet, when you are aware of the people who are for you and the people who are not for you, that's when you start hearing little rumors about yourself. That's when you hear that you're the worst person in the world. And during that time, you have to be strong enough mentally to not let that distract you. When you decide that you no longer need to seek the approval of certain people, those people will begin to try and make your life miserable as possible. And they do this in a very passive, aggressive way. You see, when people are jealous and miserable, more times than not, they're not going to approach you directly. They're just going to have little conversations with people who are close to you and try to tarnish your reputation. You see, when somebody can't come at you directly, they try to do the next best thing, as in tarnish your reputation. They want to make you seem like a villain in every story they tell. And it's all because you decided to deny them access to you. See, when you discover your self-worth as a woman, as a person in general, people who are jealous and used to using manipulation tactics against you, they will be upset when you suddenly wake up and realize, hey, I don't need you around me. I'm not that hard up for friendship where I need to deal with your toxic behavior. And that sparks jealousy in many people. When you're not like pleading for them, when you don't feel like, okay, I want you to be around, you're constantly calling and texting and being around them. They don't like when you suddenly get unbothered, where you don't care if they're not around or not. The best part about somebody mistreating you, if there is a best part, is that it teaches you how to live without them. People who mistreat you and disrespect you, especially if you're a woman where people used to take your kindness for weakness, when you suddenly become a stronger, more bold, confident woman and realize that you're worth more than the behavior that people give you, they will suddenly take issue with you. Suddenly you will be the bad guy, all because you don't want to deal with their negative, toxic, jealous behavior. When people see that you're trying to do something better for your life and you're giving less time and attention to their drama and you're focusing on maybe your career, your business, your body, your health, whatever it might be, your spirituality, they will look at you as if now you think that you're better than them. Now you are doing too much. Now suddenly, oh, you think you're above us. You're above me. You have to get used to that. I know I have said that in previous videos, but that is the number one thing that most toxic, jealous people like to use against other people when they suddenly cut them off. And for me, cutting people off is a last resort, because I do believe in forgiveness. I do believe in all of that because I'm supposed to as a Christian. However, there is such thing as forgiving somebody and not still being in their presence. There is such thing as forgiving somebody but not having them so close to you. It's not okay for people to disrespect you and talk to you any way they want to. And when you are a woman who is more kind, more reserved, you don't like a lot of conflict, people who are manipulative and a little bit jealous, they will take advantage of your kind nature. That's why I teach that being a feminine woman is not to be a gullible woman. Being a feminine, kind woman is not to be a woman who is gullible and doesn't recognize when people are taking advantage of her, who doesn't recognize when somebody is talking to you in a disrespectful tone, to not realize when somebody is belittling you. Oftentimes, you will feel that somebody's belittling you from the fact that you feel like you need to perform when you're in their presence. If you are a woman who is doing the best that she can in life, you're taking care of your family, or you're taking care of yourself, you're working, or whatever you're doing, but you haven't, discovered a cure for cancer. You're not like a neuroscientist. You're not doing these grandiose things. You're just simply living your life and you're happy with that. Don't let people make you feel like you're not accomplishing anything, all because you're not at the level to which they say you should be. And then on the reverse side of that, when you are doing those grand things, when you are opening up big businesses and you have a whole lot of money in the bank and you have big houses, nice cars, all of these things, you're doing well for yourself. Don't let people make you feel like suddenly you forgot where you came from, all because you're doing well for yourself. It's one of those things like you can't win. And that's why trying to please people and living your life to please other people, in my opinion, is pointless. You have to live to, number one, please God the way I see it. And then number two, you have to live a life that is simple and easy for yourself. You can't live for other people because, like the old folks used to say back in the day, darned if you do and darned if you don't. So trying to perform, I tell you, when I got into my 30s, my performance days stopped. It's like what you see is what you get. And of course, your feminine development, the way you work on yourself as a woman and be kind and be gentle and be sweet, all of that should come natural for a woman, or you're working on that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the things that you choose to tolerate as you grow and mature as a woman. You suddenly will decide, you know what? I don't have to perform for these people. I am who I am. I love my life. I love that I have a simple life. I love that I have an extravagant life and I can do all these different things. And you don't have to make any apologies for it. And one thing you have to do, and this is why I suggest that women work on their self-confidence and their personal development on a regular basis. You have to be comfortable being comfortable with yourself, even when nobody else is comfortable with you. Even when nobody else understands your way of life. They don't understand how you could be a woman who's living a simple life. You don't have a lot of things, but you're happy. You don't have to justify that to anybody. Or they may not understand how you run all these different types of businesses. You're constantly out of town and doing different things. They don't understand. You don't have to explain your life to anyone. And that's the one thing that helped me so much when I woke up and realized that trying to explain my life to somebody, trying to make sure they understand, well, this is the reason why I'm not here, or this is the reason why I'm doing this, or, I don't call you this much, or I don't see you this much, or I'm sorry this. Never apologize for how you live your life. Now, I'm not saying if there's something wrong that you need to change, you're still not apologizing. You're just working on that. But don't feel like you need to measure up to some standard that God himself probably didn't even set up for you. You have some people who are so hypocritical, they want you to live up to a standard that they themselves have not yet reached. They want you to be something that they would never be. They want you to kiss their backside, all because they think they are somewhat superior to you. When you have people who are like that, those kind of people you need to cut off. You see, it's not just about jealousy and envy. It's just miserable people in general. People who feel like you need to code switch when you're in their presence. And there's such a thing as knowing time and place, but just in your everyday life as a woman, your existence, you shouldn't feel the pressure to perform. And if you're around people who make you feel less than, all because you don't measure up to what they want you to be, those are not people you need to be around. Or if you're just doing so well and people are jealous and take issue with that, those are also people you don't need to be around. So as women, it's important to understand and know who you are, know your self-worth, and be comfortable with yourself as a woman. The way I see it, as long as God is pleased with me and I have direction for my life, I don't care what anybody else thinks. If I'm not accomplishing enough, if I'm doing too much, it doesn't matter. That's where your value and your opinion of yourself has to be higher than that of other people. So as women, Know when it's time to cut some people off. If they have a jealous, envious, miserable spirit, if they make you feel like you are less than in their presence, those are people you need to cut off. Now, I will say, the way you feel is not necessarily anybody else's job to control, because nobody can make you feel anything. And that's where knowing your self-worth, your self-value, and really being okay with yourself comes in. And the way I see it, the only way you can be that way is if you have a relationship with God. If you understand who God says you are as a woman, nothing nobody else says to you can penetrate your heart and your mind. You will be completely comfortable and content with who you are and how you are as a woman until God shows you otherwise. But when you don't have that foundation, you are easily swayed by the opinions and judgment of other people. So in my opinion, and the way I believe, it's important to have a relationship with God, because when you have that strong foundation, there's nothing that nobody can say to you to get you discouraged and feeling less than who you are as a woman. So ladies, be aware of how people treat you, love yourself, value yourself, and by all means, don't feel like you need to perform. If you are comfortable where you are, and if you want to make changes, work on that. But don't let anybody make you feel less than, or don't let anybody make you feel bad for the strides that you have made in your life. Okay? Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video.